It's a very touchy, taboo subject in our community. It's still really difficult to talk about.
Thing that I thought was really interesting about this film is those first few minutes we're watching that film that everyone's like, oh, this represents us. And there's sort of this idea that sometimes representation could be praised over like the actual quality of a project. And I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on that idea that's brought up in the film.
It's a very touchy, taboo subject in our community. It's still really difficult to talk about because we've had so few swings at the bat in terms of our community. And so when something comes out, we feel obligated to support it because there's so few of those things out there. And yet it's difficult because we can't sometimes have honest conversations about these things because it feels like a disservice to our community. So, the conversation that Ben and Nico have after that screening, I've had so many of those conversations with people in the community, but again, it's a difficult thing to talk about because there's so few things out there for us to really get behind.
Yeah, I think you're so right, Justin. It just goes back to kind of scarcity in general. And it's like, it does create these interesting worlds where can you be honest about things? And if you are, what happens? Are you not being supportive? Are you? But again, that it's not really anyone's fault, because if there's only one project, you can't expect everyone to like it. That art is objective. So I think it just means we are lacking representation and we need more of it.
This film also, I thought it was interesting the way that you guys tackled the idea of dating, like within your community, without of your community, kind of what that means for men versus women. And I was wondering if you could speak to that as well.
These are, again, conversations that have been swirling in our community for so many years. I mean, the whole idea of white male, Asian female, Asian male, white female, interracial dating dynamics and relationships is a very hot button issue in our community, and it's very complex. It's very steeped in racism, in exoticism, in all of these things, and it's not a thing that you can sort of have an easy one sentence answer for. There's so many factors and things involved in these things, and I don't think our movie is ever trying to say anything which way about it. It's just trying to reflect sort of some of these real honest conversations that people are having in our community about these things.
Yeah, and I think what's great about this movie is it is so messy, and it's not trying to wrap up anything in a little tiny, in a beautiful bow. It's just, I think Randall talks about this a lot, of just, if it brings up uncomfortable feelings, then that's okay, and we need to sit in that discomfort and see what happens and talk about it and open up these discussions. And I think hopefully that's what this movie does.
Did you both have a favorite or even more challenging moment working together on set?
I will always say that, and Justin is the beautiful lead of this movie. He's had so many amazing scenes. But for me, the standout was definitely our scene at the end. It was like eight or 9 pages. And it was definitely an actor's dream. It is something that I will always remember. And it is so meaty and so rich. And it feels like everything that Miko has always wanted to say, but also everything that Ally has always wanted, that I have always wanted to play and emote, and how I've felt for so long. So it just felt like this almost like therapeutic experience mixed with huge challenges. And yeah, I'll always remember that for sure.
Thinking back now, I feel like a lot of Ben and Nico stuff were a lot of one-shotters.
Yeah.
There's a scene right after we come back from the theater where we're still arguing, and we're coming into our apartment, and that was all shot in one sequence, and it was so technical, and Ally's like taking off her jacket and I'm taking off my shoes, and the camera is sort of moving with us, and we had to rehearse it a number of times, and we were only given one take because it's a one take shot. But things like that were so challenging, but also so fun. It felt like theater, and just to get to stay alive and present in the moment, and work with the camera as we're moving was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's
right, Justin. There's so many scenes that felt like theatrical in a sense. Like even in the end, when you confront Leon, you know, that was also just like living and breathing city vibes where it wasn't going to stop. So there was so much of that, and credit goes to Randall and our amazing DP Santiago, who created some incredible and interesting shots.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!